Hey guys, it's Elizabeth from Tiny Fitness, and I'm here today to talk with you about a hot topic, which is how to record your meals in MyFitnessPal when you are eating out, right? When you're not cooking at home and when you're eating at a restaurant. So I'm going to show you 4 ways to record a restaurant meal, and hopefully at least one of these will work for you. So I've got myself to a blank diary page here, and I'm going to pretend that we're going out tomorrow night for dinner. And let's look at the 4 ways that we might track our restaurant meal, or better yet, plan in advance what we might eat to see how that balance is going to affect our overall nutrition for the day, right? MyFitnessPal is best as a planning tool. So the first thing I'm going to use is the built-in restaurant finder in MyFitnessPal, which you've probably never clicked on because it's just this little dot map locator looking sort of thing up in the upper right next to that little barcode, right? So it says search for food, and then right here I'm going to click on that. And it's going to find me restaurants that are here. I'm at the Tiny Fitness Studio right now, and it's locating restaurants for me near the studio. Now you do need to allow MyFitnessPal to use your location services while you're using the map in order to get this feature to come up. And you can see that here, because we're in a neighborhood in Houston, lots of our best restaurants say request menu, right? That means they don't have a menu on file, but eventually I'm going to get to a restaurant like Panera, Boston Market, and if I scroll long enough, Chipotle should even come up. Oh, Subway, there we go, right? We have a lot of restaurants nearby, and I can scroll on the map to find my restaurants that way. Cool, so I can zoom out and I can see eventually Chipotle will come up here. So I can come over, Burger King. So all of our national chain restaurants and even some local restaurants will be in this restaurant finder, and from there it's super easy. We just go to one of these restaurants that has this green check mark the way Burger King does, right? And it says it has the menu. And, Inversion. Let's take a look. So maybe I'm not going out for dinner anymore. Maybe I'm going out for breakfast. So cool. I can see here, I can even track ahead my coffee purchases from this local coffee shop. So even better than the Chipotle example I was going to use. Right? So if I was going to have any of these things, I can just scroll through and I can select it, and then boom, I can add it to my list, right? Or not. So that's way number 1 to track your restaurant food, is to actually find the restaurant using this location tool, your restaurant finder tool, here in MyFitnessPal, and find their menu as long as it has that green check mark, right? Or it doesn't say request menu. Look at all these local restaurants that have their, good job guys. Lots of local restaurants, wherever you are, will have their menus in MyFitnessPal. So definitely give this a shot first. Or go ahead and do it this other way. Say I know in advance that I am eating at, where am I going? I'm going to Chipotle. I love this example. Now you can eat out somewhere fancier, but I know Chipotle's in there. And I'm going to hit search. You can see I'm a cheater. I already have some results in here because I've used this to track my Chipotle, right? And from here, I can just go ahead and assemble and say, okay, I'm getting a bowl with beans, pico de gallo, guacamole, sour cream, lettuce. I can go ahead and just choose all the things I'm getting here, and boom, I'll have planned out my Chipotle bowl exactly ahead of time using these entries straight from Chipotle. So instead of pulling up the menu, although look at that, it even offers, here's the whole menu based on that location finder. Beautiful, right? I can track straight from the restaurant's data. Okay, cool. Those are the best case scenarios, our easiest restaurant tracking situations 1 and 2, where we can find the menu one way or another using the search bar or using the location tool here in MyFitnessPal. But now you've decided you're going out for dinner and you're going out for Ethiopian food, or maybe you don't even know where you're going yet, right? Your friends just say, oh, we'll figure it out, we'll meet up. So you're going to eat some food that's not here in the menu finder in MyFitnessPal. And here are 2 recommended ways that I have for handling that. Number 1, let's look up that food and see what we find. So I'm not going to do Ethiopian, I'm going to do Indian, because I've actually had to go through this before. So say I'm going out and I'm going to get one of my favorite Indian treats. I'm going to get a masala dosa, right? A giant crepe of fermented lentils with potatoes inside that are all seasoned up. It's really good. Cool. So even though, right, I don't have my exact food that I plan on eating, I get a lot of results here. And what I notice is that some of these don't have serving sizes. They say 1 piece. Well, I don't know what that means. So 1 piece, 1 piece, I don't know what that means. I might be suspicious of that, but at least I can see all the calorie ranges are kind of the same. Well, this one is interesting. It does say 1 pancake. Yeah, so that sounds tempting, and I can see they're all about 200 calories. And that probably makes sense. This one says with potatoes and with the coconut chutney, so that's going to go ahead and add in probably where most of that fat is coming from there. So any of these would probably be good enough, right? Restaurant tracking, doing this method is going to be good enough. We're going to find some entries that seem good enough. If you are not taking your food scale to the restaurant, if you are not asking your chef for the main ingredients and their quantities in this recipe, your restaurant food tracking is going to be good enough, and that kind of tracking is also good enough, right? Do your best. Don't stress about it. Don't hide in the bathroom for an hour scrolling through your phone frantically like that, trying to find what we're going to do. So most of these calorie counts are coming in between 200 and 300 calories, so I'm guessing that's a pretty safe bet. So I'm actually just going to go up here and go back to this one, and if I was going to track it, just because that seems like it's probably a little low, right, even though the macros are good, I'm just going to change my serving size to be a little bit more like what I think that's going to come out as. And there we go. I could track my Indian food that way, kind of finding the most likely candidate out of the list when I search for something and just using the whole dish. But if that's not good enough for you, even though it's really a good enough way of tracking your restaurant meals, no matter how exotic they are, you can just search by the main ingredients and add them that way. For example, say we're going to Vic and Anthony's. I don't think they have a menu in here, right? Just a steakhouse here in Houston. I'm not paid by any of these people, by the way. They're just what comes to mind. Okay, so Vic and Anthony's, they don't have a menu in here. We don't have that option. But it's a steakhouse. So here's what I know I'm going to get, because I do this every year for Restaurant Week. I'm going to get a little steak. And this is always the one that's on their list. And look, even here, just for this filet, I've got so many different entries here, and I'm going to actually just take a look at them and see if we can figure it out. So this filet mignon has just fat and protein in it, no carbs, let's see, and it's about 200 calories for the 6 ounces, and then this one at Logan's, my guess would be that some of these have sauces on them. So even here, we're just going to have to figure out what's good enough. Now, we could do the math. I'll talk about that in a separate video if we're going to do math to check the accuracy of these entries in MyFitnessPal. I'm not going to make you do math here while we're trying to track food at a restaurant. I'm just going to settle on one of these, fillets, one of these middle-of-the-road numbers, and go from there. So, these ones that are really in the middle seem like our safest bet again. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick one of these ones that's in the middle. Not the highest, not the lowest. And then, along with that, they serve a giant baked potato. So I'm just going to track the main things that are on my plate usually when we go there. So this one seems absolutely accurate. That's a big potato, 3 inches, about the size of your fist if you're a woman. So there we go. My baked potato, and that comes with sour cream on it. I'm not going to list every topping, but it comes with a lot of sour cream on it. So let's search for it. There we go. Oh, I still had my Chipotle food in there. That's okay. I'm going to search up my sour cream for my potato. And, yep, here we go. And then I'm also probably going to end up with a side of broccolini. And maybe there will be a sauteed option for me here. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and search specifically for a sauteed broccolini just to take the cooking method into account. And that way I don't have to worry about looking for like butter and adding more and more and more. Here we go. So sauteed broccolini. with butter. Cool. Again, I'm going to adjust my serving size because it's a big pile of it. These are steakhouse portions. And let me just real quick get rid of these Chipotle and Indian food leftovers. If only it was this easy in real life to get rid of your leftovers, right? Just drag them over to the side. All right, there we go. And there we can see my steakhouse dinner taking shape. Now, I didn't track every single shred of cheese and item that was here on my plate. If there was a sauce on my steak, I would probably want to account for that too somehow because they're usually butter-based. But my goal here with this last steakhouse dinner I was tracking was, again, to get to good enough by picking out the main things that I'm eating off of my plate. If there's a garnish of some, carrot strips or something like that, I'm not going to worry about trying to record every single molecule of food that was on that plate. I'm just trying to go for good enough. All right, so we've gone through 4 options for restaurant food tracking. You can find the menu using this location finder in MyFitnessPal. You can find the menu using the search bar. You can find something close enough like we did with that Indian food example, or you can create your own close enough by going ingredient by ingredient, trying to take your cooking methods into account and logging them that way. So it's really not that different than that last one anyway, than if you would track your food that you were cooking at home. I'm going to let you in on a sneaky 5th method to congratulate you for making it this far. You can, if nothing else, add a photo of your meal to your phone and come back and do this part later. So don't forget, right? If you don't feel like adding in your steak, your grilled chicken, whatever it is you're eating right there at the restaurant, snap a quick photo with your phone. It doesn't have to be Instagram quality so that you'll remember what you ate, and if the bread basket was part of it, if you get dessert, if there are drinks that are part of it, just snap yourself a quick picture to remember, and then you can log and catch up when you get to it later. All right? So I hope you've enjoyed these restaurant tips, and I hope we will meet again soon. Good luck with your food tracking. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about how to track your food better, or maybe even some other ideas about tracking your restaurant meals. And until then, be well. Happy tracking.